everyone, and welcome to episode 22 of the Pokémon Podcast. Welcome back. How are we doing this week, Ron?
Honestly, not the best. Specifically today, honestly. Yesterday was pretty good, actually. So today, after, let's say, a few weeks of just videos not doing well, and also the previous episode that we tried to upload of the podcast getting limited ads and all that, and we had to, like, try to
whole hassle.
dispute it. YouTube was just being a butt and not letting our video have, you know, normal ads. So we delayed that episode, and that became a hassle. And then also, again, like I said, my videos didn't do well. So I'm like, okay, at least this week I can upload my most, like, trustworthy video series, like my 4 artists video, where 4 artists make Pokemon from the same description. Those videos always do really well. And I'm like, okay, this safe video is planned to boost the channel back up again. I upload it literally immediately after. It gets age restricted. Like,
oh, okay, so it didn't do badly. Age restricted.
It didn't get. It's not live yet. I just uploaded it.
Okay.
It's supposed to go up in 2 days, and repeal processes usually take like 7 days at least for the podcast. So I repeal it. It basically it said that the video is inappropriate. Only people who are 18 and up can watch it, and there's no ads.
Whoa!
I'm like, what?
What image have they seen in your video?
The only 2 that I can think of are, you know, Felicia from Darkstalkers? What's that game called? Do you know Morrigan? Morrigan, have you ever seen Morrigan? She's like this like vampire looking succubus kind of thing.
I'm gonna Google.
You've definitely seen this character, and you've probably seen Felicia.
Oh, okay. I might have seen them about. Like, they seem like the kind of ladies that would be where I hang out. So
nice.
But yeah, I don't know them personally though. No, me
neither. But they made an appearance in my video because that's one of the references that one of the artists used for their design. And I showed like a very a relatively tame render of this character Felicia, because like her body was kind of covering her, you know, stuff, her goods, but whatever. That is the only thing. And the other thing that I can think of is, you know, the painting, the Renaissance painting, Birth of Venus.
Birth of Venus. I don't know anything. You're just saying
the goddess of beauty.
Oh yeah.
It comes out of shell.
Yeah, but
and again,
that's innocent.
That's
enough.
definitely innocent enough. And I also pixelated again the goods. But those are the only 2 things that I can think of. Whatever. I appealed it. It comes back saying, nah, we can't. We're not. It's still age restricted.
Oh, hold up. So the way that you censored it was by pixelating it?
Yeah.
Apparently, maybe that is like a cue to Google.
I've done it before, though. I've done it before.
Oh, you've done it before?
I've done that before. Yeah, this is probably the most like suggestive stuff I've shown in a video, but it's like they're very much not sexual. They're very like, you're allowed to talk about the game that Felicia is part of, this very popular video game, and you're allowed to talk about Renaissance art, Toby, on YouTube, I'm sure. So
well, I mean, we're talking about it now. We'll find out when we upload this podcast if we get like, if they're like, no, they're talking about the birth of Venus and the subsequences. That's not the word. I'm looking at this image of the birth of Venus, and do you know what? If there's a capable artist out there, I just want that, but of me. Like the shell, the hair, the covering my boobs, like the whole thing. That's I've always wanted a bunch
long
of
hair.
Like,
the hair is as long as Venus.
Yeah. That's what I want, and I want like oil paintings.
They don't have to like change anything else in the painting, just the face, so it's relatively easy.
It's super straightforward. Yeah. A little bit more body hair, maybe. But yeah, it could be funny. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, because that that's an annoying week of like, tech issue. I know how that can be. It really takes the wind out of your sails as well when it's consecutive and it's like, oh, for goodness sake, it's
just scary because this is the first time that I got an age restricted thing. I talked to like my partner manager. He's gonna see what he can do. I don't know. It's scary. It really is scary because I really need this video to do well, especially on September where the ad revenue is high and this is a long video, a collab, and a video that always does well. I need after the last few weeks, I need it to go well, and I'm scared.
If you have to delay it a little bit, it will not kill your channel. I promise.
It won't kill my channel, but it literally ruins the entire plan of getting. It's like the perfect plan, and then it's completely ruined.
Well, it doesn't ruin the plan. It's just the plan, just slightly, and it's less effective, right?
But how am I going to release it? How am I going to release it?
You should release it in a week. Like once the repeal.
I'm scared of becoming. The repeal is over. It came back and it said that it's restricted, and now I have the last resort is my contact at Google. But it could come back again restricted, and then I just literally cannot release this video.
Well, you have to, I guess, edit out those parts.
I did. I mean, I have a version that I'm going to export and try again if that happens. But I don't know, because the problem is they never tell you what is the actual thing. So I may have fixed the wrong problem, and that is the problem.
I'm sure that'll be the problem. If anything is
my last idea of what the problem could be is that one of the designs in the video, again, I told you that it's based on Felicia. So the design is a really sexy, like,
how sexy
lady.
Are these Pokemon?
I mean, they're Pokemon, so they're naked, you know. So it's like, but it's like I mean, every Pokemon's naked. So like, what am I gonna?
Whoa! Well, every
what?
Pokemon is naked. Like, what do you? What, like I don't know, like what like? I suppose
Pikachu is not wearing clothes.
Oh my goodness!
That changes everything for you.
I just didn't realize. I didn't think about it. Wait! Machoke's wearing.
No, that's part of his body.
Whoa, okay. Sork.
I'm not, like, do you know this? You're a Pokemon YouTuber. You've studied the anatomy of Pokemon, specifically every part of their body.
I've not studied every part of the body of every Pokemon. I've studied much to do with Pokemon, but not their various anatomy parts.
Like, you haven't made a video, what's under Jinx's dress? Because, again, it's not a dress. That's why you didn't make it.
No, you don't want to. It's a void of, like, it's just like a howling, icy, there's like a banshee wail that comes from it. If you don't want, you forget things about your own past, and you just sort of end up in a ball shaking. It's not good. I've seen what that does to Pokemon trainers, man. It's messed up.
So Shedinja's whole.
Oh yeah, you don't look in there either. That's sort of a. Oh yeah.
I mean, I didn't show any Pokemon's whole or anything. I just showed Renaissance art.
That was a beautiful segue from Shedinja to that. That was like perfect. You just went full circle in such a graceful way there.
Oh,
classy, man.
Have you ever watched the movie Arrival?
I've yeah, that's the one with the aliens and the
language.
The language. Yeah, I watched that in the cinema.
Did that make you think about life? Did that make you think of things and the message of the film?
It's been a long time since I've seen it. Yeah, I think I thought about it a lot when I watched it, but I couldn't tell you what it's about now. I don't remember. It's been
Arrival for the audience is aliens come with their ship to Earth, and a linguist is the first person that that Earthlings let have contact with these aliens. This linguist goes up to them, tries to learn their language, and slowly does. And it's the message of the film is basically that perspective and your perspective of everything of the world is affected by your language and the grammar of your language and everything. So, for example, those aliens, they have some kind of language that is seen in a loop, like they speak in a loop, or they write in a loop, and it basically allows them to see into the past and future, basically. And it makes total sense. Like, your perspective on life is affected by your language. For example, English, there's a bunch of synonyms for every word, so you can be as subtle as you want. You can properly be eloquent using English, and you can sound smart. For example, you're able to say exactly what you want to say, and exactly how you feel. But for example, a newer language, so for example, I speak Hebrew, and Hebrew is a revived version of an ancient language. It's it's literally the only language ever to be revived. But because it's new, there are barely any synonyms. There's only like one or two words for everything that you want to say. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And because of that, people who speak Hebrew are very blunt. They can't. There's no other options for them, so they can only say what they can't say things lightly. You know what I'm saying? They have to say exactly what they want to say.
I understand what you mean, because like in the movie, the thing is they use the word that you might use for tools, but it could be interpreted as weapon, right? Or they could interpret. You can interpret it a million different ways. But if the language isn't like nuanced enough to have all the differentiators,
yeah. Another more general example that can be found in a billion languages is that we use gendered language for different things. Like, for example, Spanish or I don't know, German. You use gendered language. And one language, you can refer to a building as a female, while in another language it could be male. And that changes how your perspective of architecture and how you will make architecture. If you're a language that sees, buildings as male because that's how you refer to them in your grammar, you'll make probably more brutalist, big towers that look, intimidating. Well, if you think it's a female, maybe your culture will make more beautiful buildings that flow, or I don't know, that have more delicate layout. It's very interesting.
The power of language is huge. I've got another book recommendation for people. I'm done listening with the Love Cup book, and I'm now listening to a book called Untamed. And again, it's along those same lines of therapy and that kind of thing. And in it, the lady speaking tells a story of when she took her daughters to get their ear pierced, right? And in it, the older daughter runs up and she's like, oh no, the younger daughter runs up and she's like, come on, let's do this thing, let's get my ears pierced. She gets her ears pierced, and then the younger daughter's like, I don't know that I want to do this. I'm not feeling it. I don't want to do this. And everyone's saying to the younger daughter, to the older daughter, sorry, go on, be brave. Look how brave your younger sister was. And she was illustrating a point of like, I get what other people meant when they said the word brave, but is that really what brave is supposed to mean? Doing something even though your gut instinct tells you not to do it? And there's like a nuance between bravery, which is doing something even though you don't want to do it, but you definitely feel like it's something you should do, versus doing something just because it's uncomfortable. That's not necessarily bravery. That's like a different thing. Well, and
people rarely do that, so yeah, I don't even know what the word would be for just doing things just because it sucks.
I can imagine being in a situation where someone says, go on, be cool, or do the brave thing, or do this thing, or that thing, or whatever, and not even thinking about, like, getting so caught up in the emotion of a moment to not think about, like, the language of what's actually being said or implied. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Although I don't understand in that context for some reason.
Wait, what?
I don't understand the point of your story. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't really understand the point of my story. It got away from me a little bit, I'll be honest. The point got away from me somewhere. You had me thinking about language.
Yeah, so like people who are bilingual, for example, they can definitely, let's say, they'll have a few more words in their arsenal that will literally change their perspective on things. Like words that don't exist, let's say in English, for example, they'll have a word for that, for feelings that you don't even think about in English because you don't have a word for it. And that sucks, that like our language literally limits our perception of the world because we literally, every language has some kind of thing that they don't have a word for.
It's true.
Like maybe even a person who doesn't even study any languages like you, like maybe you haven't even noticed that. That you haven't noticed the limitation to your own language.
Well, I wouldn't. It's the kind of thing you wouldn't notice that you're not equipped for until you realize, there's not a word for this.
So it's similar to the movie Arrival, where it's like they didn't even consider a sensation that human language limited themselves, that human languages had limits to. But this alien race that came to Earth is able to literally perceive time because of their language, while humans can't, because they didn't even know it was a possibility. You know what I'm saying? Sure,
yeah. Like, do you not think it would... Is the end goal then not to, like, all of the various languages we have across the planet to just kind of condense them into not through some forced removal of language, but instead through natural evolution for all languages to eventually get the best of everything and, like, in, tens of thousands of years' time, just be one language?
Yeah, I think the culture should be preserved in terms of, like, the language should still be spoken, but a universal language, like, let's say English, I think it should be English because I speak English, but also because it seems like English is becoming the universal language, but it could be whatever, who cares what the language is, but a universal language would be awesome. If everybody in every single country is taught an extra second language. I mean, in pretty much every European country, they're taught a different language. The Scandinavian ones, for example.
Sure.
Pretty much everybody knows English as well. You can do that in literally every country if you wanted to. So, and again, it doesn't have to be English, but like a second language it really changes your perspective on things and opens so many doors.
Yeah.
So I would definitely recommend that. I do see that as the ideal future.
I think the thing is, it's got to come quite naturally. Like, I don't think you can get a bunch of linguists to sit in a room and come up with the perfect, most optimized version of English that allows for every single word, expression, gendered, ungendered options of speech. Like, I feel like that's got to develop naturally through the merging of, I guess, cultures and peoples and languages.
Well, that's what happens already with English. Like,
yes,
yeah, 30% of English words aren't from English. I assume more because it has to have an origin. Everything has to have an origin. So I would assume pretty much every word isn't from English. It's also interesting to think of what kind of words come from different languages. Like, there are a lot of words that come from different languages, but it seems like all specific kinds of words come from a specific language. Like, for example, a lot of like just food and furniture and things that like have to do with living, let's say in English, sometimes come from France.
Okay.
While, I don't know, a lot of the names and, creatures come from, let's say, Hebrew. It shows you what kind of culture each culture is based on what words are translated into English.
Yeah, I suppose so. So
or become part of English.
Where did this come from? Us talking about Shedinja's holes? What's got you on the? I
looked into the abyss, and the abyss stared back and said, "The how impressive language is."
I'm just wondering where your brain got, because like this. I mean, it's fascinating. You're right. It's not something I've given a lot of time and thought to. Is this something you're interested in right now? Or?
Well, I've always been interested in language. That's the thing that I wouldn't mind talking about for hours. Have we talked about how I'm just interested also like in preferences, for example, just things.
Yes. I don't know, but I don't know if we have on the podcast, but I know that's a big reason for the podcast, right? And having guests on and asking them their favorites of things. Right?
Exactly. I love hearing why people like the things that they do. I definitely have. I remember saying the sentence like, whether it be music, food, their sexuality, the kind of friends they have, anything that they like. I want to know why for some reason, and it usually is based on culture, at least the extent of what they like. That's why I'm also interested in cultures and, by extension, language. Because again, I don't know, for example, Japanese, you have to address everybody by some kind of societal structure. Like if some person is above you, you have to use specific grammar. If someone's below you, you have to use that kind of grammar. And again, that changes how you see how society should be built even. And I guess because of that, because of how free-flowing, how free English is, you can pick so many different words. Maybe that also makes, Americans have this feeling of freedom, or, obviously people from England.
Sure, yeah.
People from England are, maybe that's why there was this whole split from Catholicism. People, English people, are defined by the fact that they split from the rest of Europe, basically. England was defined by autonomy, at least within themselves. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, they impose their own will on other people, but for themselves, they want to be alone.
Yeah.
Again, I could be totally wrong. I'm just giving theories as to how important language is. And if anybody has fun examples of how language has affected history or culture, please let us know in the comment. I would 100% read that.
I was chatting with my grandpa about language, because obviously he's 97. Language has changed a lot for him.
True.
And we were talking about... I can't remember the specific examples of words, but the kinds of things that you get in like Twitch speak, and the kind of things that you get on on all the new age words.
Dude,
so like,
how about the third segment? I test you on slang.
Oh gosh, yeah, okay, that could be kind of fun. Oh, we could do it on each other though. I could do British slang.
It's not going to be as fun because I've watched videos about people testing each other on British slang and American slang. I'm talking about like Gen Z slang.
Okay, yeah, you could test me on Gen Z slang. I think I'd be all right. But like, anyway, I was throwing this out at Grandpa, and I remember like I was helping out with some computer stuff, and one of his on his computer he had been searching what is woke. What is wokeism? Woke? What does it mean?
Woke doesn't mean anything anymore. People just use it loosely.
Well, yeah, I was just talking to him about. We were talking about the way language was changing, and he was saying, there have to be rules, there has to be... Oh, do you know what? No, that was it. We were talking about the titles of videos, and I was saying how titles of videos can perform better if the capitalization and the grammar isn't there. It feels more impersonal, like, say, a text being sent to a friend, like a message being suggested to a friend. And he said, well, that's just wrong, though. It's, like, grammatically wrong. I said, I know, but it's, like, how people communicate. And he was very frustrated by the idea of rules changing in that way, and I was sort of saying, but then isn't that to a degree all of language? Like over time, as culture and society changes, like, yeah, okay, I was taught when I was growing up that every I, basically, unless it's in the middle of the word, is a capital. Like this is the way that we do.
You don't
stuff.
Even capitalize the I's in your titles when you want to be.
Not anymore.
Wow.
Not anymore. And apparently it's fine. Apparently that works. Apparently that resonates. I don't know. Now, whether it does or doesn't, I might be incorrect, maybe it doesn't, but maybe other people see my titles and start doing the same thing, and then, I don't know, maybe it starts a viral wave of people, and then it becomes reality. Who knows? The main objective, I guess, with any language is, do you understand what I'm trying to communicate? Yes or no? And, so I'm not super picky about, like, the rules of stuff, especially as someone who's known for like typoing all over the internet. My main goal is just like, can I convey what I need to convey? You know, that matters to me a whole lot more than is it correctly written, but that's obviously more of a personal problem, you know, than anything.
There are no rules because, for example, obviously everybody knows that there's a billion exceptions in English and whatever, but we adopt rules from different languages too. For example, the word Sean, the name Sean, at least. Why is it...
What, S-A-U-N?
S-E-A-N. That's Sean.
Yeah.
Scene. What the hell?
Yeah.
What'd you do? Why'd you do that, Sean?
I know.
The reason is because it's from Irish. It's the Irish version of John. And in Irish, again, I may be wrong, but when you have E after an S, it becomes Sh. So it's like Sean. That's literally it.
Bizarre. Yeah, we're all okay with it, though. I mean, we can go back to the tried and true and tested, you know, GIF and GIF and whatever. And it's just like, does it matter? It just isn't a discussion that I think matters. You know what I mean?
Well, specifically for videos, it's like, videos didn't exist when this grammar was made. So what do you mean rules? There was never rules for videos. You create the rules for videos now. So it's like, why is
I suppose the rules. It was the rules of language. It's just like, you know, how can you title something like, because to him it's the same as titling you know, like an article, like a news article.
But then
like imagine if a news article.
Well, what's the difference between titling a movie and an article? Those are different rules.
Yeah, I guess they are.
Like you can have a movie called Red, but then you can have a movie called The Perks of Being a Wallflower. One is a sentence, one is a word. Same thing with a YouTube video. You can have it be formal or informal. So I don't know. Tell your grandpa to shut up.
Okay. I'm seeing him tomorrow. I'll tell him... Actually, no, I'm not. I'm seeing him the day after tomorrow. So when I see him, my 97-year-old grandpa, I will tell him to shut up.
Tell him Ron sent you.
I'll say, Ron sent me... Shut up, Grandpa. I love you. Do you need help with your printer? That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. He's lovely. He's a good lad.
He's a lad?
He is a lad. I bet he was a lad 80 years ago. But no, he's a lad. He's lovely.
Did I tell you when I discovered the not home videos, but like videos of my mom when she was like 20? When she was like around my age?
No.
And how uncanny it was? Because she was a completely different person. So someone took video of her wedding shower? Her bridal shower? What's the shower?
Bridal shower.
Bridal shower. And it's like a bunch of women, you know, in a circle, giving gifts, eating food, right? Which is definitely uncanny when it's your mother's bridal shower because they're talking about crazy things there. But also because my mom is a classic mom. Like she has mom energy, right?
Okay.
But she doesn't when she's 22, let's say.
No.
So it's like this is not the same person.
Was she a mum before she got married?
No.
Then yeah, she wouldn't have that energy.
No, but like even when she's not talking to me, let's say when she's talking to her friends, she has energy that she didn't when she was talking to her friends and when she was 22. She was way more shy, soft-spoken, maybe embarrassed. I don't know because it was her bridal shower, but like she definitely looked like my sister. She sounded and acted like my sister right now.
That makes sense.
While now my mom acts like a way more confident person because she's lived life, you know. She again does those embarrassing mom things like, you know, being extroverted and stuff like that. While she apparently, so when I confronted her about when I saw this video, she's like, I was not extroverted. Like I was introverted as a child. I didn't know you can change.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it makes sense. And also, you know, that whole thing of like, you know, mom and dad have got this. Like, I don't know, like when you're a child, your parents seem to know everything, right? And yeah, you can grow up and understand, oh, they're just people. But like, I don't think that ever truly goes away, that feeling of like, but they do, like, because obviously they've got more life experience than you. And so to then watch a video of them of a time, perhaps even when they were younger than you are going to be looking at a hugely different person, but it's the same person. It's bizarre.
I guess that's why you can't really like, for the most part, you can't really blame a person for something they did like 20 years ago, let's say. I mean, you can literally do that if you want.
Yeah.
But it's like, they are a different person usually.
I think about that a lot. I do. I think about like, I mean, I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of like the worst crimes a person could possibly commit or anything.
Just because a message has an exception when put to the extreme case doesn't mean that the message does not stand.
There we go. But yeah, I do think about that. I think about like, obviously, where was I, you know, when I was 18 and then 10 years before that when I was 8, to now where I'm 28, these are all very different people. When I'm 38, when I'm 40, these are hugely transformed people. I'm actually going through what I feel like is a huge period of growth, personal development in my own life right now. So, when you're talking about things that people did like 50 years ago or 30 years ago, and again, I'm not talking about the worst crimes in the world, of course I'm not, but it does make me wonder, like, how accountable, I mean, I guess of course they are, but like, how accountable can a person be? Is it even them? Maybe that depends on how much they've changed. Perhaps some people change more in 20 years than others do in 40. I don't know.
Who cares if they're accountable if the crime usually is not about how guilty they are, but rather the damage that they've done. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if they've done enough damage, even if they're a completely different person and they're sorry and they don't even remember why they did it.
Yeah, of course.
But it's crazy because I often think of like how I act now. It's not good as, let's say, a parent, for example, or a 45-year-old. Who cares if I have kids? But like, I should not act the way I act right now if I'm 45. Let's say, right?
Why not?
There are a lot of things about me that are immature. So it's like it would not be ideal. I can still act like that if I wanted to, and my life would still be fine, I guess. But it's like I should grow up. For example, I was walking. I don't know why I had this idea while I was walking around, but like, so I don't even have to say that I was walking. I could have just said I had this idea. But I had this idea last night when I was walking around. I'm like, I really have to get rid of my, let's say, arachnophobia by the time I have like at least kids, or at least 10-year-old kids, because what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do if I see a spider in the house and let's say they're scared of it too? Who picks it up? I mean, I'll pick it up, but it's like I can't be scared in front of a spider in front of my children. I don't know. That seems pretty. It's not an ideal situation.
Yeah, that's an interesting one because the way you phrase it, like things like I can't be this way by the time
I can.
You can be that way, and
but
I don't want to. Morally wrong with you being that way, but like, yeah, obviously, I think it would be ideal, but like, that's pressure to put on yourself, and whether you're willing to accept that pressure right now or not, that kind of thing, or whether you got time to think about it. But yeah, I don't think like you have to change in a sort of moral obligation sense. More just it's that definitely sounds like it would be better for everyone. Yeah, sure. Another
maybe this is more moral, I guess, but like it's like. I get really angry when it comes to food. Like when people ask, "Oh, Ron's a very chill person. He probably doesn't get angry." I mean, I get angry just like everybody else. But the thing that I get probably most immaturely angry about is food. So, for example, because I have these like ailments that are affected by what I eat, like acid reflux or IBS, I have to have the specific food that I need to eat. And if let's say I find out that someone ate my food from the fridge, or someone, I don't know, didn't buy the food that I told them to buy, or I don't know, let's say they didn't tell me about a specific meal that we were having for dinner, and now my day is ruined for some reason. I don't know. I will get very annoying and start like complaining. And it's like, how am I gonna do that with my kids? Because I see my father as a good example, where it's like in his mind he's the last priority when it comes to the food. Like, you can eat his food. He wouldn't want you to eat his food, but if you ate his food, he won't get angry about it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because he can eat anything, and he's far from picky when it comes to food. That's the last thing he's picky about. So it's like, I guess I just want to model myself after my dad, and I'm not even close to that yet. And that's why I'm sensitive about how sensitive I am about food.
Again, I don't know that resonates as something that like. I don't think you have to change any of these things.
You don't have to change anything, but you should change your life. You should change who you are. Like, you don't have to make me feel better. I don't think that I'm a flawed person and this makes me a terrible man. I'm just saying that
fine.
These are things that I should change. And if I don't, I'm not going to kill myself, but I'm just saying that, like...
Okay, well, good. I'm glad. I mean, I'm glad on that front, and I'm glad on the front of you're not morally upset about, or you're not, like, emotionally distraught about.
We got to get to a point where you don't have to try to make me feel good just for trying to change. And I think that in general for every other of my friends and just people in general, like, why do people always, when people try to change
the way you said it, it sounded very self-condemning. The way that you opened up the topic,
you're allowed to be self-condemning.
I don't want you to be self-condemning.
What's for you? What does condemning mean? What is the result of being condemned?
It sounds self-judgment,
You should judge yourself sometimes.
No, well, sometimes, but like it depends.
And this is the time. This is the time right now.
In a healthy way or not? And
was it unhealthy?
When you opened up the topic, I was worried that it might be. Now you have clearly reassured me that it's not.
So this is the thing, I guess, this is the thing that I should work on. I feel like whenever I say something that I am not happy about, let's say in my life, I feel patronized when people are like, nah, you're good.
Okay.
Because naturally people want to make other people feel better, but also a lot of people take things to the extreme. So your friends don't want to make sure you don't take things to the extreme, right? But my whole philosophy is not to take things to the extreme. So it's like when I'm constantly thinking, when I know that I don't take things to the extreme, and I'm constantly thinking about not taking things to the extreme, and then my friend's like, "Hey, Ron, just want to make sure you don't take this to the extreme." It's like that is in my mind annoying, even though you didn't do anything wrong. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
Because I'm literally I'm the one who's always like preaching that. So it's like it's almost as if the person is like saying that I'm a hypocrite or I'm not practicing what I preach, even though that's not what you're thinking. You know
that is exactly what I was thinking. Bingo, you got it. I thought, Ron, you've always thought this thing, and you said it, but I just don't believe you're wearing it. No, I'm just yeah. I'm not engaging on that level. I'm just engaging on a conversational here we are level, and I don't know. It sounded. I just don't want you to, but clearly you don't, so it's all good.
Like, what's a flaw that you would like to change about yourself?
Wow, yeah. What's a flaw that I would like to change about myself?
One that we didn't talk about on the podcast. You have a lot of flaws, and we talked about them.
But this is it. A flaw I would like to change about myself. Well, we've already spoken a lot about them on the podcast. I think in terms of my relationship to seeing myself as an unhealthy person or seeing myself as a gross person.
Wait, so again, your flaw is that you see yourself as a flawed person?
No, being flawed is fine. Again, self-condemnation at the point of like, you are fundamentally like a disgusting person or a unhealthy person, and it's just who you are. Just accept it.
Well, that reveals a lot about yourself then, because you were confronting me about that because that's what you have trouble doing.
Yes,
I don't. So that makes total sense.
Well, there you go. And so these are things that I'd like to change about myself, and I'm working towards at the moment, currently. And I feel really great right now, actually, because I'm working through them.
Then I wonder
what years.
Yeah. Because again, you starting therapy later than I am, so like you're in that phase.
Yeah.
But I guess I wonder what kind of advice that I project onto others, like you did.
Well, yeah, this is true. Often, like you say, like when we're talking, it's very possible that I'm, just projecting what I would like to hear, which is a lot of what people do. This is what it's not about. There you go. So it is a lot of that. That's what I would like to hear to reassure me. Because I'm only really, even though I know you, and I know Dan, and I know Luke, and I know other people, and Phoebe, it's very hard unless you're really, I think, actively thinking about it to think, okay, what would they want to hear, as opposed to what do I want to hear, which is, it's interesting.
It is hard. That is the hardest thing.
It is. That's a hard technique to get.
And I'm not good at that, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm not, I don't
think Whoa. Don't judge yourself, man. It's okay.
So I like to be introspective and think of ways to just fix things. Whether it be myself.
I mean, I can give you one if you like, and then you can edit this out if you don't like it. But you've definitely been known to come across a little blunt, I think. Yeah. Especially when giving feedback or.
Oh, that's the number one thing people have told me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. And like when it comes to obviously when we're editing the podcast and things, and it's I know you don't mean it in any kind of bad way because you're so used to you're like, Toby, don't patronize me, right? You're like, I don't need you to patronize me when you're delivering a news or, I hope everything's okay. I do. You can patronize me. You can patronize me. Because of that, you can be softer. You can be gentler,
Because I want people to be blunt to me and just tell me exactly what they're thinking.
Yes. I think that's the example of it that I can think of.
Wow.
And you're going to be gentler with people, but you don't have to be. You just can be if you want, I guess.
That's definitely one of the reasons. But another reason I probably am blunt is because most of the people that I am around are people that I'm 100% comfortable with. As an introvert, as a social anxious person, I am 95% of the people that I'm around are like friends and family, like best friends and family. So it's I know if I am blunt, nothing bad. There aren't any consequences. So I'm just used to being blunt. I'm
never gonna if you look inwards and you go, you know what? Actually, this is just who I am. This is I'm not gonna change anything about myself. It's not gonna it's not like, oh, well, I guess we can't do the podcast together or be friends because you're a little blunt sometimes. Like, whatever, it's fine. It's just, that's part of you and that's part of what makes you up, and that's, that's wonderful. But yeah, I mean, there you go. That's where I think you project the way that you'd like to be treated in conversation.
Cool.
That's interesting. We got somewhere with that. That's cool.
Perhaps the Pokemon we generate has a blunt object and or body and or body part or blunt hole. That's that's impossible. Can you have a blunt hole?
I don't know. Rob.
Is your hole blunt? I don't know.
You don't want to know.
Let's generate that mon. Okay, that's good on the thumbnail. Sobble.
My boy! My son!
Yeah,
I love Sobble.
Everybody does. I'm a huge fan of the Galar starters. I think the best trio, as in, I like them all relatively equally. While other trios, I like them, but, one I 100% like more. I definitely like Grookey more, but it's I do treat Sobble and Scorbunny as my sons as well.
When you're saying the starters, you just mean
just
that
the babies.
Level, the babies. Yeah, I can agree with that. I definitely, when that generation came around, before I knew what they turned into or anything, like Sobble, Grookey, and Scorbunny, I was like, wow, I've got a real choice to make this time. That's really cool.
And then you didn't.
Yeah, and then I didn't because I saw the evolutions.
I wouldn't mind doing I think the next playthrough I do of Sword will be with Scorbunny because I like the energy of Cinderace. I like the personality. But Sobble, for example, my brother was a huge fan of Sobble. When it was revealed, every other week, not every week, he would send me doodles of Sobble that he would make in school. And he's not an artist or anything. This was never a thing he did. He would send doodles, he'll draw Sobble as Peter Griffin, Sobble as Pac-Man, Sobble as this, and then just text me in the middle of the day while I'm editing. And it was fun. But
he likes his Sobble.
But then, he was definitely disappointed by Inteleon.
See, Phoebe is, as much as I'm like, oh, Sobble's cute, I feel like Phoebe comes in here with a ferocity of that is my child. Back off. She loves Sobble. I think it's possibly her second favorite Pokemon ever or something. Obviously next to Shaymin and Noibat, or Noivern rather. Those are her favorites. And she loves Inteleon too, and she really enjoys it. And I'm happy that there's a Pokemon that brings her so much joy because when sometimes there are those little things that make her happy, and they'll get a little squeal and a little smile and and I like seeing that face on Phoebe a lot. It makes me very happy to see her get excited about stuff. So I'm always and I know that okay, Christmas is coming up. Is there a Sobble themed gift or something like that?
Yeah.
But it's just gonna evoke that same feeling.
That's why I always let people know what I like.
At the end of so when Sword and Shield came out in the following December for Christmas, I was like, Phoebe loves Sobble so much, I'm gonna get her a shiny Sobble. And I started hatching eggs and doing the pseudo method, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. And I have no patience for shiny hunting. Anyway, while I'm halfway through doing the shinies, and I'm like, gosh, this is quite long, but I'm gonna do it. She runs in and she says, I got you an early present. I went, what? And she knows that I love Applin, and she was like, I've just got you a shiny Applin. I've been hatching eggs. I was like, you suck! Why are you doing this to me now? I haven't finished with yours yet. And I turned the switch down. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, you got a little Sobble coming. I shouldn't have said that, because then I'm committed to the shiny hunting, and there's no guarantee. Luckily, it didn't take too long after that. But so we traded this shiny Sobble for this called Spob for this shiny Appleton called Pom. Applin, sorry. And so that was just a nice little part of that year, part of the celebrations for us.
What's funny is that I want to start talking about presents, but we already did talk about presents.
You know what would make a great present for yourself, friend, relative who likes Pokemon? It's the new Tree of Evolution, which Phoebe's working on right now. She's drawing away every day.
Mugs
I
even?
walk in.
But
it could be on. It's not going to be on Mugs.
Then I'm not
it's
getting
too
it.
big. It's too big. Then you don't care. Which fair enough. Mugs even. I love that stuck so well. I don't even know where that came from. For anyone who doesn't know what I was talking about, with my old advertising, with the first bit of advertising I did, for any merch that I had on the channel. I think it was the Alone Executor tee. I did like, you can get it for yourself or for a friend. Posters, t-shirts, mugs even. And there was something so funny about mugs even that every year when I advertise any new bit of merch, if it's on a mug, that comes up. Like, that's like a recurring thing, and I love it.
I mean, I'm sure it's probably grammatically correct, but I would just rather say even mugs. But mugs even, it's like the point is, wow, even, like mugs even. Mugs even.
Even mugs.
Mugs
the word even is beginning to not sound like a word.
Even mugs even. Mugs even. I wish I had a slogan that people talked about, like stay green. I did that in an ad once, but nobody says that.
Didn't catch on. I found I was, after you left, I was going through my memory box, and I've got in there because it's not in my wardrobe. I don't know why it's in my memory box. I have my True Green 7 Pikachu shirt, the drawing.
Oh yeah,
shirt, and I love it. And I was like, that's where that went. And I guess I put it in there at some point. And I was like, I'm really excited to just see it again. So I'm taking it back out and hanging it up again.
You don't understand how happy it makes me when I see my friends like wear my merch or anything. I got way more people sending me pictures of them wearing that shirt than anything else I've ever made. That specific,
cool
like,
shirt.
if anybody knows, it was just this stupid drawing of a Pikachu. Like, it's very terribly, purposely terrible drawing of a Pikachu because I think it's hilarious. And I wish I could do that for more Pokemon, but I think one of the versions got struck down because it's literally a Pikachu. But it's enough transformation. I would say it's fair use because it's like. The point is that it's not a proper drawing of a Pikachu, which is what Pokemon would do. So it's like I'm not sharing any part of the market. Did you ever take like a copyright class?
Not like a proper official class, no.
Yeah, I took it was mandatory, like a art of legal art laws of art laws. It was very interesting. It wasn't like the most interesting art class, but I probably remember more of that class than like other classes because it's like a lot of it is like scary. It's like, oh, I have to make sure I don't do that, so you remember that. It's like, someone can do that to me. I have to make sure that doesn't happen. There have been famous artists, for example, that legally got away with it. Like, they're able to do this. There's this famous artist that took like Instagram posts, just took a screenshot, would draw over it or something like that, or just did a different caption, put it in a museum, in an art gallery, and it's totally legal. Forgot the name of this guy, but his case is very famous. Or for example, there's cases where like a monkey would grab a camera from a natural photographer and would take a picture of himself. The monkey took a picture of himself, and now the photographer does not have the rights to that picture apparently, because the monkey took the picture.
And that isn't to say that the monkey has the rights, just that no one has the rights.
I think the monkey has the rights.
The monkey can't have the rights to the picture.
He's not American.
No, legally, can it?
I don't remember the result of that one, but there's so many. We had to read like so many like legal like court cases and stuff like that. Like, let's say with music has like the most, at least in modern times. It's very interesting to see what is constitute like copyright infringement when it comes to music, because like there's the beat could be similar, the composition could be similar, the chord progression could be similar, the lyrics could be. I mean, I've never saw one where the lyrics were the proof for it being copyright, because you could be quoting that. You can quote things like if I quoted a book in a song, that's legal, right? I don't. Why am I asking you?
I'm not. This isn't my. I don't know. I make Pokemon videos on YouTube, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. Why are you asking me? I don't know.
Because, I mean, technically you have to click a button when you upload a video that says that everything's legally okay.
Yeah, and also you have to agree to the terms and conditions on every site that you ever click on. I'm sure you've read those.
You don't read them?
No, I don't read them. I'll be honest. I don't. I had at uni. I had something similar. That we had a class on filming. Well, we had many classes on filming safety. Like, it was like a big deal. It's like, hey, you need to, if you're filming somewhere, you need to have permits of basically everything. And if anyone could get hurt in any ridiculous way, whoever's organizing that, whoever needs to, like, someone needs to be responsible for that. And if they're not, and something goes wrong, that's just legally you can get sued for all sorts of reasons. So, like, there's all sorts of things. There was one, it was an episode of Top Gear where, what's his name, Richard Hammond?
It's a British show, I don't watch it.
one of the Top Gear guys. He's like racing down this track on the supercar going crazy fast, and it barrel rolls and like flips and is on fire. And the guy survives. He's all right, but it could have been like a really horrendous accident. And what happens is the moment something like that happens on a set, there's a big sort of legal checklist that like production stops and there's a big checklist of like, okay, who is liable, whose responsibility was that? You find it, and we were being given that class by the guy whose responsibility it was, and he was like, yes, because I did my job, I didn't go to jail. Was like the basically, because you know, regardless of whether the guy got hurt or not, like he could have very much gone for jail for it. And we were being told like, okay, so if you're filming something in this building, what are the things that could happen? And we had to write out lists of stuff. And then the lecturers were just coming back with like even more ridiculous lists of things that could happen. They were like, okay, but you're underneath a flight path. What happens if a plane crashes? And we're like, wait, what? Can you be responsible for that? And they're like, I don't know, can you? And I don't remember what the consensus was on that, but you are filming under a flight path. Like it was a thing to consider.
Yeah. You took an improv class, right?
Yeah, I did improv it as part of college and uni, and then I've gone to an improv session or two. Well, I mean, improv is just in school. Well, in school, what? How long did I do improv, or how long did I do acting?
How long were you mandatorily taking improv, or at least for credits?
Oh, I don't remember.
Whatever. I don't know if you have credits in England, but
I wouldn't remember it. No, it's not really a thing. Wow. Well, you have your UCAS points, so it's
whatever.
The same thing.
You took it as a class. How long was that class?
I don't know. It would have been like part of the class, so I don't know.
Wow. Okay.
It's not like I took an improv class. It's like I took an acting class, and one of the units would have been about improv, and we would have played other improvisational games the whole way through the year. So I don't know.
So I took an improv class.
Okay.
Literally last semester of college, which was fun. It's fun doing like the fun classes the last semester of college. And I was the most nervous there, because like I'm so self-conscious about the fact that I'm not good at like I'm not witty, or like I can say something funny sometimes, but like I don't consider, like I'm always around people who are just funny, because I'm around content creators, I'm around people who are like smarter than me, at least, just like, so I'm a little self-conscious about that, and I literally bring that up in the first day, because that's my coping mechanism, to just bring up to literally tell people my insecurities. So I bring it up because she was going around, I was like, why are you here? Why are you in improv class? And I'm like, because I'm very insecure about the fact that I can't do improv. And then she's like, oh, like I'm constantly around people who are very funny and can do improv. And she's like, oh, you're basically just keeping up with the Joneses. And I'm like, what? Because for some reason I did not understand that phrase.
I don't understand that phrase.
Which is annoying, because I did kind of know that phrase. I hate when I do kind of know it, but when I'm tested on it, I forget. It basically means that you're keeping up with the Joneses. Is like, let's say when you have neighbors and they get a fancy car, so now you try to get a fancy car.
You gotta get a fancy car, right?
It's keeping up with them, keeping up with your neighbors, basically. So keeping up with the people around you is keeping up with the Joneses. So I'm like, what does that mean? And then she had to explain it to me, and then I felt even more insecure because I didn't know a reference in an improv class. So it's like,
oh no,
it was like, but then through that improv class, I slowly revealed that I'm way better at improv when I do characters and voices. So if I'm just acting like myself and there's no like set character and I'm just doing improv, I can't do it as well. But if I am doing like a completely different voice who is completely not me, I just can get into that mindset of this character. But it's funny because every single voice that I did and every character was literally just a character that already exists, that I'm like, let me just do this character from this anime.
That character.
Or let me do this character from this show. But that's literally how famous comedians come up with their characters. They're almost always just bad impressions of characters that, because the impressions aren't close to the original character, you're just like, that's...
They take a life of their own. Oh, I see how you got there. I see how you got there from copyright to this conversation here. I see that.
So
I had a moment. I would love to share this. I had a breakthrough moment when I was 16 or 17 in drama in college, where we were doing improv, and when you're that age, the goal of improv is like, who can get up and say the loudest, most funny thing.
Yeah,
right? And it's
it
not.
Really is.
It's noise. It's not like good improv. It's just noise for the sake of noise. And often you see scenes going completely derailing, right, and going just totally wild. And that's fine. That's normal. That's part of the learning process, is to do that and get it wrong and get it wrong and get it wrong. And then eventually, what happens is, you know, the teacher or the director starts going, hey, you know, like, let's try and just keep it down to earth a little bit and try and do this. And I just remember this moment where I was meeting someone else, one of the girls in the class, and we're up and we're on the stage and we're doing the scene, and there's a couple other bits going on. There's another conversation going on, and she's like, "Oh, hey, I don't know, Dave, how's it going?" And I'm like, "Oh, hey, you know, I don't know why I came in from such a small, quiet place, but it was like, oh yeah, no, things are good. It's good. Wow, it's been a long time. How's things going? You still with? Oh yeah, cool." And you know, we build up this story about these two characters over the course of a couple lines of dialogue. And then she's like, you know, how's things? I go, you know, how's your mum? And I'm like, oh, you know, not so good, actually. I'm just coming back from the hospital now. Whoa! And the director, I just remember the teacher just being like, everyone stop. Everyone stop what you're doing, right? We're just going to watch what's happening over here. And like, I just remember it being this huge breakthrough moment of like, wow, we just created such a dynamic scene between two characters, which would seem to be at this point like exes meeting up. They haven't seen each other in a while, and suddenly it's like, oh, but I'm willing to trust you with the information that maybe my mum's not doing so well. It was like, it was this really just that. This is why I love acting so much, and this is why I know I have to go back to it, because there is nothing that makes me feel like that. There is nothing on this earth that makes me feel that passionate about something. It's just magic when you're just suddenly, it's like you just created a scene, you just created something, and it's like so dynamic and it's got so much energy and potential to go anywhere, and it was just beautiful. It was, I don't know, it stuck with me over the years. I thought it was absolutely incredible, and I was so lucky to get to do that and to be in that moment. And it was like, and that's just something I did randomly. It was a small thing that was part of a class for, you know, sort of 20 minutes when I was 16, and it sticks with me. It's so powerful, that stuff. I love it.
Yeah, similar stuff happened in our improv class, where like I would see people have those moments and I'd be like kind of jealous. I'm like, okay, I hope next class I have that moment. People look at me, I have this breakthrough comedic moment. I guess the only times it really happened was just when I would do a voice, and I would just do the voice well, and it wouldn't be like a funny joke. It was just that I was just really good at doing that character. But yeah, everybody has their different strengths. So yeah. I'm glad I found that out. I guess improv really helps you just realize the kind of person you are.
Improv is good for traversing life in general. Like, I really wish I had kept it up after I stopped acting, because it was, and it's something I want to get back to. I'm just like, we're in a frustrating position where there's nothing nearby. There's nowhere nearby. Really? It's all far travel to get to, yeah. And
wait, how like London is far, I'm assuming?
Yeah, London probably. And like, you know, if I'm doing that weekly, which I'd love to do, like, I just don't have the time for that right now. So I'm doing sort of D&D as sort of the substitute for that, and I'm aware that it's something I'd like to keep reintegrating. But it's because D&D literally is just an improv class, but the only difference is while there is the DM who's kind of running the show, I wouldn't go so far as to say they're the same as like a director or an acting teacher necessarily, because what the DM wants to do is facilitate the kind of good story happening, and it's very unlikely that the DM ever says, okay, I liked what you did there, but like, could you go back and just, what about if you try it this way? Whereas obviously that's the point of a director. Imagine, like, you'd feel so insulted, you know, but obviously a director is going to do that, and you get to play the scene again and again and again and refine it, and it transforms as you go along. But I wish I kept it up, because it is something that the philosophies of it, you know, first of all, being open to opportunities, yes, and what can I do? How can I develop this? Seeing opportunities, being able to collaborate with people, negating something, I think an important skill, negating the censor of life that says, don't do that, that's awkward, that's embarrassing, that's stupid.
Exactly, yeah.
Wow, just getting rid of that. I wish I had kept up with it more, because that does creep back in. I think those things, they creep back in, and then you got to work again in your late 20s to like get rid of those things. Be a better artist. Is this you got some slang for me, some Gen Z? Yeah. Some Gen Z slang words. I know, I get it. I'm a poker tuber. 28.
It is, I mean,
born in 94.
Yeah, we're both millennials, but like, I guess I was born 2 years old earlier, so I was born in that year, 1996, where it's the most contested year of, it's like the final millennial year by most measurements. So it's like I am basically at that transition between millennial and Gen Z, so I know a lot about Gen Z culture. I don't participate in it as much as a Gen Z person. I participate in mostly millennial stuff. But it's basically based on how mature a person is, or how, like, just the kind of things that they like determines whether or not a person from 96 is more millennially or more Gen Z. So I probably know more of these words than you do, but I may be underestimating how many words you know.
I remember when the internet and the phone couldn't be used at the same time.
Well, to be fair, like, people your age do almost always, at least the ones who are online, know these words. But something about Toby, we've discussed this, like, something about Toby's, like, disposition is, like, to not want to, like, or to use or know these words. You are actively annoyed by these words?
It's not an act of, no, it's not an act of annoyance or knowing. Sorry, it's not an act of annoyance or wanting or not wanting. I just don't know.
And then you are annoyed at the word for the fact that you don't know it.
No. What have I been annoyed at?
Maybe not word, but the trends, at least.
I don't know. Sounds like I'm annoyed at you right now.
The humor. You
Peter, the horse is here.
Nobody knows what that means, Toby.
I love it. I love it.
For some reason, the entire trip that I was in England, that one joke from TikTok, Toby gravitated towards, even though the rest of the trip, whenever Phoebe or I or Josh would bring up a Gen Z TikTok or meme or reference, he would not get it and he would be annoyed by it. But he would constantly say,
I don't know.
Whenever we saw a horse, he'd be like, Peter, the horse is here, even though it literally makes no sense and isn't funny.
The horse is there. I'm just letting you know.
But it's not funny bringing up that TikTok because it's only funny in that specific context, that specific...
Now whom is the one who is annoyed?
This guy.
Get got. Get got.
I don't know some of these, Toby.
Alright, okay, it'll be okay. Well, the ones you don't know, we can work them out together. It'll be fine.
These are like, yeah, but this was probably made by a millennial. I want one that like teenagers really use. Like, I hear, again, woke is here. Why is woke here? Gen Z people do not use the word woke unless they're being ironic. Or it really is woke. And like, they're just using it like how people use based. Do you know what based means?
Yeah, based. Like, that's based. Is, you know, like, that's a down-to-earth, smart opinion. Yeah. We like that.
I don't think people actually say that in everyday conversation with their pals. But when they're online and it's like a big group, they'll be like, that's based.
Yeah. I think I know some people who would
4chan.
say that.
That's 4chan speak. That's not even like from TikTok or anything. That was originally millennials saying based on 4chan. And then yeah. What's bussin', Toby?
Excuse me?
What's bussin'?
What's bussin'?
Oh, okay. That's hilarious.
I don't know, man. What's bussin'? Like, what's happening, I assume?
I wish it gave me a sentence to use.
I could assume it's like, what's up, what's happening, but like, what's bussin'?
No, it's not. No, what is bussin'? That sentence is not what's bussin'.
That's what you just said. You just said what's bussin'.
I was asking you, what is the definition of the word bussin'? I wasn't using it as the
I
sentence.
thought you were using it in context.
No.
Like, can you use it in context?
If I use it in the context, you'll 100% know.
Oh, okay. What is bussin'? Bussin'.
This food is bussin'. This chicken is bussin'.
Well, I guess it's good.
It's just delicious, yeah. It's a quirky way to say
specifically delicious.
Delicious.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go annoy Phoebe with that later. Okay.
What's funny is that, for example, the word sus, I was using way before people were using it in the last few years, like, because of Among Us. Like, it's a normal thing to, let's say, maybe in New York, just, that's sus. Like, I was saying that, like, for, like, 10 years, maybe. Oh, there it is! Base teacher lists off Gen Z slang from students.
All right, I'm ready. My body is Reggie.
Okay. Pull up. The word
what?
Pull up. To pull up.
Pull up. What, like you're in a fighter jet and you're like, pull up? What do you... What?
Or if someone... Yeah, pull up.
Hang on, that's not... I've never heard that in any context. I've never heard anyone say that. I see that you're you know, pull up. Does that mean you're coming over? Are you coming to hang out?
The
only thing I could think.
So, like, I pull up at the after party.
Right, that, and that in your car, you're pulling up. Yeah, that's the only thing I could think.
Yeah.
But that's an educated guess. I did not know that. That has not been... no one I know has said that to me yet.
I mean, you know, no cap or cap.
No?
Oh, really? Wow, okay, that's very popular.
No cap?
Just cap. Cap, well, cap is more simpler than no cap, technically. It's like, well, I'll try to find the most simpler version of the phrase. So
technically, there's more cap.
If I say,
there's no
if I just say cap to a response, something that you say and I say cap, or something that I say,
like
and
kappa?
I say cap. No,
like kappa?
There's
like
a,
on
like
Twitch?
K-A-P-P-A.
Oh, okay.
Is that how kappa is spelled on Twitch?
I don't know.
But no, I don't think it has to do with... No, it definitely has nothing to do with kappa.
No, I have no idea what that means. I could not tell you what that means.
If I say something, let's say, she just punched me in the face. No clap. Like, I don't think people would say that.
No! Would she punch you in the face?
Like,
no cap? No, I got no idea. What would that... She punched you in the face, no cap. Like,
and I'm aware when I say it does not sound like... It sounds like a millennial trying to say these Zoomer words.
Okay, like, okay. Is it like she punched me in the face? No biggie, though.
No.
Is that what you mean? But no, I got no
to think of a different sentence. I hear all of our YouTuber friends say this after they say a thing, and then they're like, no cap or cap. What's a very unpopular Pokemon?
Aromatisse.
Okay, but I also hate Aromatisse. What's a unpopular Pokemon that I like?
Servine.
Yeah, but that's not unpopular.
Yeah, I hate it. So just use the example,
if I was Toby and I was like, I hate Servine, no cap.
I'm serious? No joke?
Yeah. Cap is a lie. If you're saying cap, you're lying. No cap is like, I'm serious.
And that's not related to Kappa from Twitch?
No, because what does that Kappa have to do with lying?
Is it not like jokes? Kappa, jokes.
Oh, you're right, actually. Huh.
No, so it is. Oh, okay, so I did know what cap was. There you go.
Let me see the origin of
You didn't know what cap was.
No, I knew what it meant. I just didn't know the origin of it. You knew the origin, but you didn't know what it meant.
If you had said that the origin was that, I would have been like, oh no yeah, cap. This is what it means.
Nope, it's not from Twitch. It's from, just like most slang, it's from, African American culture. So it's like, rappers boast about all the wealth and swag they acquired, no cap.
I don't know. Ask another one. Go on, give me a good one. I got a good chance of getting. Let's do it.
Slaps.
Oh, that slaps. It's great.
Yeah, okay, that's been a long time.
Everyone knows that.
Everyone knows that. Low key. Because that's been before slang. Yeah. That's just an actual term. That's not even slang.
Yeah.
I mean, it is slang because the grammar's not correct. But
he's the god of mischief. So.
When someone says I'm dead, what does that mean?
Oh, I'm dead. But you're not actually dead, obviously. But you wouldn't be able to say it. But you're done. You're done for the day. I'm tired. I'm dead. Or that was so funny. I'm dead.
Yeah, the second one. If you were to put someone on, what does that mean?
Annoy them?
Quite the opposite.
Arouse them?
Close. No.
I don't know.
I put you on Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Oh, you showed it to me.
Yeah,
and it slaps.
Yeah. Even though you haven't continued it.
I knew this was going to come up, and we need to talk about it at some point. It's not my fault. It's your fault.
No, you can just. Who cares? Okay, you can just say, Phoebe, if you're not going to watch with me after a month, then I'm going to watch it by myself. It's very understandable that if a person's not letting you watch a show for a month, you watch it by yourself.
Okay, but I value this relationship. I can't.
What does that mean? Like,
I can't risk it like that.
But she clearly doesn't care about watching it, so then you watch it.
Yeah, but she does care about watching it. She just doesn't got around to it. To be fair, I haven't had the time either. But
if it's a month, she doesn't care if you watched it. She'll watch. She maybe still cares about the show.
We're gonna watch it.
But she's not cares.
We're gonna watch it.
Okay, we'll see. Because you're gonna forget things. Bet.
What?
Bet.
Bat.
Bet.
What, like a winged rodent of the night? What?
Bet.
Bat. Oh, bet.
Bet.
Yeah, bet you won't. Bet you will. Bet you won't.
Basically.
Yeah.
Drip.
Yep.
Drip. Drop. Kip and cop. Hits different. I love using
Yeah, well, I mean, if it hits different, it's like, that's so good. It's not even in the realm of, like, what that normally is like. It hits different.
Yeah. God, I love hits different.
Yeah, that's a good one, actually. Hits different or hits different?
Something's a snack.
Yeah, I'm a snack.
Okay, yeah. Because these are things that millennials use that.
Phoebe told me. She also said I'm a slice and I have a wagon.
Yeah. And some of these are all already 3 years old, so you know them, like Stan.
Yeah.
And that's technically even older than that, but why would you know why people call something a Stan? Or someone a Stan?
I stand for it.
Yeah, no.
Oh, no?
It's actually way older than you think in terms of origin. It's not that old. It's not older than the word stand, but it's like it technically is a pop culture reference. It's a reference to a song.
Oh, okay.
It's a reference to the Eminem song Stan, who's a big fan of Eminem. It's a song from the perspective of a diehard fan of Eminem.
Okay, cool.
And
Right,
like,
that
you're
makes sense.
such a stan.
Got ya.
It's like calling someone a Toby.
Yeah, you can't.
You know, yeet.
Yeah, I'm gonna yeet you off this podcast.
I guess this is the end.
Yeet.